divested and said, I'm going to be white men, and then they're being abused and have to do slave. There's all types of crazy stuff. So we know that even now in a so-called liberal society, open America, we're still catching hell, right? And so I would argue, and I would agree with Brother Michael, that we really do need to turn internally. I know I wrote an article in the Journal of Blacks in Higher Education and talking about how we need to close ranks and really turn inwards and focus on what we can do for each other rather than looking for what society can and do, because we know based on interest convergence, when them folks or their institutions tend to want to help you, in the long run, it actually benefits them and not us ourselves, right? So a great example would be when Brother Barana talked about this issue of being put on welfare, they're promoting these type of behaviors. Who benefits in the end? It isn't us. The outcomes for us typically are negative. While the benefit for them is what? The prison industrial complex, they got some workers, right, who are going to be entrapped by the carceral state. Oh, you got to get put on benefits? Cool, no problem. Now we the daddy, we're going to tell you what you can and can't do with your kids, so on and so forth. So there's a lot that when we really look at what's taking place from the surface level to even getting deep into the weeds, isn't beneficial to us. And I think as a Pan-Africanist, and we know that we believe that what is done for African people should be done by African people, the only solution that we truly have is to close ranks and look internally to solve our own problems. I truly believe that. And I agree. We should do that based on our own cultural values. On our own cultural values. So when I have conversations, because I used to work in student conduct, and I would ask young ladies, okay, you're engaging in this behavior, it's your right, you're an adult, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? Who the hell am I to tell you what you can and can't do? But let's look at the outcomes. Is this actually benefiting you? Right? You're sitting here talking to me, you're about to be put on probation, right? You're one step to being suspended or expelled, right? And so really trying to unpack and get people to think beyond, I think, what you would say, Sister Malika, beyond the emotional, beyond the surface level, to think long term. We know most young people don't tend to do that.
Right.
So just things to consider. Just we talked about a lot here, about accountability, women, accountability, the freaknik, so on and so forth. But I think this is important because there's oftentimes a lot of pushback that when men make the argument that they want women to be held accountable, it's rooted in patriarchy. And most people, I would argue, mistakenly associate patriarchy with misogyny. Right? That's oftentimes, particularly in the feminist discourse, feminist literature, that if a man is patriarchal, he actually has a hatred or severe adverse view of women. And I don't think that is the case.
I don't think that is the case either, but I do question and wonder why men put so much focus on, like in this conversation, why men put so much focus on women being accountable. Like, why is that the linchpin? And part of what I heard Michael say is because Black men are held accountable by society, and men kind of can't get away with the same thing that women get away with in society. And I would disagree with that, because I don't think men are held accountable by society. I think Black men are punished by society. I think
wait. I want, and let's give her a chance to explain the difference between being punished and held accountable.
I think it's a difference between being punished by society, which you guys are always punished by society. I don't think you're held accountable by society. When you hold someone, let's just think about the reason why Brandon, I'm sorry, I don't know why I keep calling you Brandon. I'm sorry, Michael. The reason why you might want to hold me accountable is because you have my best interest at heart, because you want the community to grow. You want the community to thrive. You don't want to hold me accountable. My hope is, if we're working together as a community, you want to hold me accountable so that we both can be successful, so that we both can win, so that our families can win, so that our children can win. It's a mutually beneficial reason why you want to hold me accountable. When you all are punished by society, it's not a mutual beneficial reason why society punishes you for the things that you do or don't do, for paying child support and not paying child support. Society does not want Black men to be on an equal tier or equal playing field with white men. So it's not that you all are held accountable for the things that you do. You're punished for the things that you don't. So I don't think that we could say that society is holding. I think we could perceive it as being held accountable, meaning there's a consequence for an action. I would say that is the correlation between what happens for you. If something happens to you, you don't get to not pay, or you don't get to not do the thing that you're being forced to do. But again, who's winning? Who's benefiting in the situation? It's always a top-down situation, never one where it's benefiting the Black man to come up and to be successful in society. So I don't see those two things as the same.
That's a great point. I hadn't looked at it like that. Okay, you cooking tonight, sister. You cooking tonight. Cooking. Okay.